Thank you, band. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Thumbs up? All right. Hello, Zoomers. Which camera's on? Wave to the Zoomers. Who we got? All right, we got a decent crowd up there. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us. What am I missing? There it is. All right. There's some names up there I don't recognize, but welcome. Wow, been a while. Glad you all are here, electronically and physically. Well, I'm Mike. I'll be your facilitator today, and hey! And for my reflection this morning, I'm going to go ahead and read again, which I rely on this book a lot up here. Don't Sweat the Small Stuff by Richard Carlson, but this is the second edition after he had Family and Kids. It's the Don't Sweat the Small Stuff with Your Family. So anyway, this is remind others to treasure life. At the end of many of the letters I write, I use the salutation, treasure life, before signing my name. I also use these words often when signing a book for a reader and sometimes on my outgoing voicemail messages at work. It's one of the ways I try to remind people of the preciousness of life, of how lucky we are to be here, alive on this planet. When I use these words, I really mean what I say. In fact, I believe that gratitude is one of, if not the most important, tool for living a peaceful life. Gratitude has a way of putting almost anything in its proper perspective. Yes? Too often we take this incredible gift of life too much for granted. We rush around as if we have forever, respond out of habit instead of out of wisdom, and fail to attend to our highest stated priorities. We often fail to recognize and acknowledge not only what we have, a home, family, friends, possessions, and health, but life itself. I've found that when I do acknowledge the gift of life, much of the small stuff that used to bother me takes on far less relevance and significance. Appreciation puts things in perspective and allows me to be less uptight and reactive. In fact, when I'm feeling really grateful, virtually nothing seems to get to me. Sometimes I can even see the humor in all the chaos. When you remind others to treasure life, you can't help but do so yourself. Try it sometime. Remind your spouse or child, a friend, parent, neighbor, or someone else to treasure life and observe what happens to you. You'll probably connect with the feeling of gratitude, of feeling blessed. The quality of your day and of your life will improve, as will the quality of life of those around you. Appreciation of life reminds you to be kind, humble, and generous. Those are 3 favorite words. And to take moments frequently to stop and smell the roses. I encourage you to take this strategy to heart and implement it in your daily life. Remind others frequently to treasure life. Doing so will be a tremendous service to mankind and will help you as well. So I think I'm going to start signing my emails, Treasure Life. I love that. Absolutely. Well, if you would, on the front of your songbooks, join me in our vision statement, and then we will go to our song, which is This Little Light of Mine on page 48. So our vision statement. Our Sunday gathering is designed to provide a weekly encouragement to individually manifest our highest good and purpose in our lives. Inner direction is the key. We reinforce positive directions for our lives and the infinite potential within us. We seek connections to create an open atmosphere of acceptance of all backgrounds, races, and lifestyles. We come together in a spirit of inclusiveness, embracing all spiritual paths, honoring God in an atmosphere of unconditional love. All right, again, our song is This Little Light of Mine on page 48. Let's all stand and sing, and then we'll do the meet and greet.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All up in my house, I'm gonna let it shine. All up in my house, I'm gonna let it shine. All up in my house, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Out there in the dark, I'm gonna let it shine. Out there in the dark, I'm gonna let it shine. Out there in the dark, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thanks, band, for the cue. Y'all ready for a special song? Anyone? Anyone? Yeah, the band's ready. If the band can be ready, the rest of us can be ready. Yeah, that's true. All right, band's going to do a special song, and then I'll come back up here and announce the chant and meditation. So, rock and roll it, guys.
I'm gazing out at your hills and the mountain we carved long ago, past the trail of tears that runs bitter and the shadows as black as a crow. It's quiet out on the prairie where the memories shimmer like dew. Oh, America, America, oh America, it's you. I'm walking down in your valleys, I'm looking for buttons and rings left by the soldiers that fell here to rest where the meadowlarks sing. The heartbeat of drums in the distance, the songs of the gray and the blue. Oh, America, America, oh, America, it's you. I'm looking out at your fields and the amber waves in the sun, and I'm thinking that bounty and grace does not fall on everyone. I'm wondering about the harvest and the vine where the grapes of wrath grew. Oh, America, America, oh, America, it's you. Our grandmothers and grandfathers came here with dreams they planted on you. Oh, America, America, oh, America, it's you. If I travel the length of this land, I travel the rest of my days, from the forest and valleys and rivers to the mountains and shining blue waves. I'd seek her like a bridegroom, and I pray that my heart would stay true. Oh, America, 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 it's you. Oh, America, America, oh, America, it's you.
Holy cow. That got me a little melancholy. Is that like Woody Guthrie or something? Who is that?
Better.
Who it?
A devotee of Woody Guthrie. That was written by my nephew, John Nicholas, and he lives in Maine.
Holy cow. That's awesome. Thank you
Ken
all.
has an audio copy of it. Request it from him. It's really, really good. It's really good. Genuinely, very good.
Is he a performer somewhere?
He is, but amateur performer.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for sharing that. And next time you see him, tell him thanks. Okay, well we're gonna do the chant. So everybody, take a deep breath, kind of sink into your chair, start to relax. The chant is going to be "Listen" on page 59, and then we are going to just go right into the meditation by Darrel. So it'll be seamless.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Forget you, I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song.
Take some deep breaths.
Just relax. Everything that you need is right here. Don't need the future. You certainly don't need the past, except to get here. And with each breath, just try to become more present. We'll take our attention to the top of the head. And we'll focus there, and with our concentration, we'll build some energy. It's energy of consciousness. And we'll set our intention for that energy to be cleansing, clearing. And what we want to clear out is anything in our consciousness that doesn't serve us, that isn't valuable, that isn't relevant to your highest good. So we'll take this energy from the top of the head and bring it down into the head. Let it clear out the brain. We'll bring it down into the neck and throat, out to the shoulders. Take it down each arm and make the energy balanced equally between your left and right arms. Flow it down the arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, and out the palms. And just keep that energy flowing, cleansing and clearing, removing all of the random pieces of consciousness that we all carry around. Ask for the cleansing. And return to the top of the head. Build the energy there again. And this time we'll take it down into the spine. Send it down the spine, behind the heart, to the base of the spine. Separate it at the hips and send it down each leg. Through the knees and the lower legs and out the bottom of the feet. Thank you for this cleansing. Now we'll return to the top of the head, and this time we'll build the energy there and we'll ask for healing. Perfect health, the vibration of perfect health. And we bring that energy inside the brain. Down into the neck, throat. Send it out each shoulder, and then down each arm, again with equal intensity. Flow it down the upper arms, through the elbows, forearms, wrists, and out the palms. And return to the top of the head. Gather some more energy. Gather some more awareness, presence. Set that presence to be a healing light. Send this energy down through the head, into the spine. Send it down, lighting up the spine with this healing light. To the base of the spine, we separate it there. Send it down the legs. We pick up the energy from our hands. Send it through the knees, down the lower legs, and into the earth. We take our attention back to the top of the head. This time we ask for peace, divine peace, oneness with our true self. Bring this peaceful energy down into the head, into the neck, out the shoulders, down the arms, through the elbows, forearms, wrists, into and out of the palms. Take our attention back to the top of the head, setting our intention for divine peace. Just feel the acceptance. Clarity and understanding. A knowing. We'll send this energy down into the spine. Let it just light up the spine. And at the base of the spine, we'll separate it out into each hip. Send it down the legs, through the knees and down the lower legs and into the earth. And say a little prayer of gratitude for this cleansing and healing and peace. And we'll take our attention back to the top of the head. With gratitude, we give thanks. Just enjoy just a few seconds of silence, staying present. Coming more and more into the present moment. Thank you very much.
Blah, 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 blah. Thank you. That took me deep. Thank you very much, Darrel. Much needed. Okay, well, time to introduce our speaker. And I guess when Richard sent his bio in, he didn't give us much to go on, but I'm going to read read what he got. A lot of us know Dr. Coberg. He leads meditations. I think we have an announcement out there on the table about your meditation times, etc. Well, Richard is a retired administrator and OU professor of human relations who's been teaching meditation since 1976, going on 50 years. Raised Catholic, Richard accidentally began meditating with the Rosary at an early age because technology hadn't been invented yet, and that was as close as he could get to a video game. He thinks his weightiest credential with Morningstar might be that our musician Darrel Clark is one of his best friends. Now, Darrel and I were talking before this, and Darrel said he might want to introduce, if you want to come up and say a few words, you can.
Sure, yeah.
To further introduce Dr. Coberg, but I thought it warranted something from Darrel. Oh, and by the way, Dr. Coberg's talk is titled Meditation as a Metaphor for Everything, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too, because Richard always has something to say, and always has a funny way of saying it. And Richard has been a good friend, and I started going to his meditation classes right after I retired, and it was a perfect transition for me. Just really, when you go through a big change in life, it's always good if you can kind of start it off in the right way, get things started in the right direction. And your class really did that for me. So I thank you for that. And come on up and give us what you got. Thank you, my friend.
My best credential, for me anyway, the one that I'm most proud of, one of the ones I'm most proud of is I'm Darrel's friend. I worked with him on the board at Morningstar for a while, but I've known him since we both started our path in meditation back about 1975, 74. And Darrel and I studied under a man called Audley Allison. I'm sure you've heard of him, and some of his students have come in and given some talks. Connie is an expert in telling the stories of Audley, and we all loved him dearly. And I'm just going to share some of the ideas that he shared today, but I want to underline I guess, living the action of being the presence that I feel when I'm around Darrel, and I've felt it since 1975, that he's a wonderful, wonderful soul. And if you get a chance just to hang around with him, please jump on that. There's an awful lot to be said about who you hang around and how that changes you, and hang around, just being in his presence, it makes a difference. I know when I first came to Morningstar, Darrel's presence was just so obvious. Some people are like that. They just have a presence that blows you away, or at least calms you. And one of the things that happens with Darrel is that if you spend time with him, you get the feeling that he really believes in you. And I've seen it happen with all of our students. And Darrel's fatherly, brotherly approach to relationships is a result of meditation. I can feel that change happening in myself also. Very humble, gentle, kind, and when you're in the presence of other people, there's no question. He has no skepticism about people. He just looks at them and he sees the God within them. And it's a pleasure, just a joy. And that's the kind of people that we want to evolve into, that all of us want to evolve into. Just real briefly, the Rosary story, I think I might have told last time I was here, but some of you may not have heard it, so I'll tell a little bit about it. When I was a youngster, the way I started meditation was using with the Rosary. And I started that because I couldn't stand the heat. I would, as a 7-year-old, I would wake up at night in Oklahoma. My DNA is all Viking DNA, and it's set up for cool weather. And so I suffered because of the heat. And my parents got an air conditioner, and I would, late at night, wait till they were asleep and slip under their bed. I spent about 3 years in the summer hiding under my parents' bed, sleeping. But it was something that I needed to do. It's also you can imagine what kind of character evolves from that kind of behavior. And the same thing with meditation. I started after school. It was hot, and I was looking for a place that was cool, and I found the church, the St. Francis Xavier Church. Our teachers were nuns, and it was a great school, but it was really hot. And so after church, I finally figured out after school that I could go into the church and sit, and it was cool in there. And that's how my whole spiritual path kind of began, because I ran into a group of widows who were in there every day saying the Rosary, and I needed a good alibi for being in there. So I would go up and kind of blend in with their group. And finally, this one sweet little lady came over to me from behind and put a rosary down on my shoulder and said, "If you'll say this rosary, the Virgin will talk to you." And I went, "What?" She said, "Say the rosary and the Virgin will talk to you." And so I said, "Okay." And sure enough, I'd stare at the statue of the Virgin as she told me to do, and pray that rosary and pray it and pray it, and it would animate. And that was kind of an opening of a new kind of awareness for me. I never did hear her talk. I didn't hear her talk for years and years. It was like in my 20s. But probably I was going into some kind of dimensional state and spending time with her, because I really love that female aspect of the divine light. So, and eventually I kind of woke up. I was doing a rosary when I was in my 20s, and I kind of awakened, and I was talking to a woman who was like a counselor in whatever dimension this was in. And I said, "Well, what do you want me to do?" That was really all I needed to know, was just tell me what to do and I'll do it. But nobody could do that for me. And she said, "Well, I think one of the things you need to do is get out of Catholicism." Which is a strange thing to get from the Virgin Mary, but she said, you're just afraid to make mistakes, and it's true. In that schooling and that group, part of being a Catholic was you didn't want to make mistakes because you were going to hell, and it was kind of fear-based, and it carried over because the nuns were teaching us mathematics and, geography and that sort of thing. And that kind of bled over. If you were wrong in religion class, you were a troublemaker and going to hell. But also it bled over into geography and kind of everything else. So I tried to avoid them, and I, as much as I could. We were always in the middle of the room. But after school, I would go sit with these widows and say the Rosary. And as he said, I saw it as a video game. I practiced and practiced and practiced. And I kept doing that up until the time, well, actually still do it. But it's amazing. The story kind of amazes me because it's funny how you're led to where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. And when I found the Lotus Center, I recognized that same energy and that same kindness that I felt in the Divine Light with this lady. And I was so happy. It was like finding my way home. Lisa Connery and I and Darrel all teach a meditation group every day of the week. At 7 o'clock in the morning, and any of you who would like to come are more than welcome to come. It's great to practice. You can, the practice changes you, and it's a great gift. We never charge anything for. Our teacher, Audley Allison, was emphatic about never charge anyone for anything spiritual because it's free. It came to you free, so give it away to others. And Dr. Connery has led the way with that charge. And we started out at the Methodist Church. Now we're doing it pretty much exclusively on Zoom. But at 7 o'clock, I think he said there's some flyers in the back. I've brought some also that will give you the Zoom links to both of those meditations. It's 6 o'clock on Sunday, and you're welcome to come. It's for beginners. And then it's 7 a.m. every day. And you can come when you want and check out, or if you're late, you can just come in. Or if you want to check out early and do something, that's fine also. Zoom has been a great gift for us for this particular meditation and a real gift for me.
Richard, it's on our website too, the link.
Oh, it is on the website? Good. Well, perfect. Well, please do come if you can. It helps us to help. Really, the whole thing about a little bit of accountability and practice is really beneficial in the business of meditating. We're going into, our meditation takes you into the stillness, or it's a guided meditation that Audley used, and Darrel was using part of it this morning, but it's just a practice, a way of moving into the stillness. But when somebody like Darrel leads it, it's even more than that, because the presence of oftentimes I did a lot of work with psychology and small groups and dysfunctional groups. And what we find is that in that realm, the group tends to kind of move in the direction or move toward the most dysfunctional person. And the group starts acting like the most dysfunctional person oftentimes. And that's like, you can think of that in high schools or among groups of boys or whatever, but the whole group can become a little bit dysfunctional just by having dysfunctional members. However, with meditation, there's some kind of a magical thing that happens, and everybody kind of moves toward the higher vibration, the highest vibration in the room. And with somebody like Darrel or Lisa in leading meditation, we all move into that light, the consciousness that they've accomplished. They share that with you. So And I've just got a few notes about meditation that I wanted to share with you. Meditation is not, of course, the only path. There are lots of paths that work. The Druids find it in nature and the trees, and the Japanese do that also. And they become just as enlightened and filled with love as someone who meditates. The Native American people will not, some tribes teach their young, their mothers teach the young about the magic. This thing we call God has so many names and is presented in so many ways, but the natives would teach their children, the mothers teach their children, and they would say, this is so sacred, don't ever speak of it to anyone else. And a chief in one of the nations wrote a book about it and said, so we never speak of the divine. It's within ourselves, and it's a relationship within ourselves. So that's a good example of a religion that works, but doesn't involve a group. Buddha was lecturing to a group of 1,000 monks one time, and someone in the crowd asked him, what's the one true religion? And the Buddha responded by looking out into the crowd and saying, 1,000 monks, 1,000 religions. Our religion is our relationship with our origin. It is, and it's very unique to you. Very, very personal kind of an experience. But it's a real experience, and just because it's different, or someone has a different kind of practice than your own, or if you get attached to a religious group and someone lets you down tremendously, which has happened, we tend to just give up on it. But it's real important to use that as a learning moment and realize that, you know, it's a personal relationship. There's no way that maybe a church can give you good ideas and they can give you something to work with. The Christian, lots of Christians use the Bible as their path. But some people use dance, the Sufis and the natives. They oftentimes use dance as a way to break through. And the Catholics use the Rosary. The Catholics don't get into the Bible. The Bible salesman used to come to our door, and my mom would just say, we're Catholics, we don't read the Bible. That was, and she really believed that. We shouldn't read the Bible, we'll let the priest tell us what to think. But there are 1,000 monks, 1,000 religions. Everyone has their own particular relationship with the divine, and that's where meditation kind of comes in to really, really help, because it's a way of moving into that relationship and experiencing it. And once you've touched it, you'll always want to go back. We just love, those of us that have been around it for a while really love to meditate. The other thing I want to say about the relationship is it's a two-way street. Once you start working with trying to find this divine light, the divine light shows up in mysterious ways. It's a great mystery, and it never will be anything but a mystery. When I was at the Lotus Center, I thought I was there to figure things out, to get some information to operate on. And they taught us lots of wonderful things and taught us how to view life as a school, and that the school has a certain period of time to it, and then you're going to leave and go back into the light. But the meditation is instructive also. So practicing is important. Just because you know that, or you think you know, one of the important things that I think I'd like to share is one of the great awakenings for me was to examine what do I believe and what do I know. And it takes years to do that, but to really work on what is it that I know and what is it that I believe. And what happens as you do that exploration is that you find you don't know very much at all. There are not very many things that you can get down to. I know for sure that I'm some kind of a conscious entity somewhere, but other than that, it really is kind of a mystery. And everything else is belief. Beliefs are things that our parents give us, and our grandmother and grandfather and our school teachers. They're all beliefs, but they teach us how to believe so that we can operate in this environment. If we were in China, our beliefs would be a lot different, but it would be because our parents taught us differently, and it was based upon the environment that you happened to land in. So separating out the beliefs from what you know, and that's also happens in meditation. You realize that at the end of the day, what we are is sort of hypnotized by our culture and by the group that we hang around with, by our parents, by television. And the more we repeat this thought of us having an ego and the more and our oneness, our individuality being an important issue, the more hypnotized we get. So meditation's one of the missions is to de-hypnotize you, to help you loosen all those bonds and to move into a state of awareness of what you really are. And what you really are is love, ultimately, and a kind of a particle of this divine love. So let me see what else I wanted to, just remembering another important issue in meditation or in our spiritual life that I've learned through meditation is that you've got to ask the divine light. It's a two-way street, but you really have to ask for help. And if you're willing to ask, you're gonna move much more quickly. So asking for help is a big part of Audley's teaching. And let's see, Native Americans. So don't forget to ask. And also just final kinds of notes that meditation is a practice, and whether your practice is dance, like Kathy and Tom, or you're a chanter, work with chanting, or work with prayer, or work with the Bible, the most important piece of the pie is to do it on a regular basis so that you build that into your nature. It's easy, when things are going very well, it's easy to fall away from a practice. But the more you practice, the closer you're going to get. And when hard times come, you'll be ready. You'll be ready to do that. You'll be ready to deal with what comes up. So it's a practice. And no matter what it is, whether it's being a Sufi dancer or, a person who walks in the trees and finds God in their garden, practice it. Make sure you stay with it. Find somebody, the other thing is, I think, find somebody who's there and spend time with them. So find somebody you know for sure is where you want to be, the kind of person you want to become, and hang around them, hang around that group, hang around Morningstar. However, ultimately, any if you focus on one person and see the God within them, which is a great gift. Victor Hugo taught us to love another person is to see the face of God, and it is absolutely true. But also, if you get really involved with any one individual, eventually they'll let you down. Sometimes they'll do it on purpose, just so you'll have that experience if they're really a master. But eventually they'll let you down. So it's like spread it around if you choose to love people, and you want to use that as your path. And let me just look real quick. I think that's what I have to say today, and I appreciate you all and hope that you'll get something from that. And do know that Lisa and I and Darrel and a bunch of other folks would enjoy your presence in meditation. You each have a presence also that's very unique and very connected, and so we'd be glad to have you. And I guess there's some flyers back in the back, or I'll leave some of these back in the back. One of the last things Audley always talked about was, don't believe a thing I say. Find out for yourself if it's true, and that's the only way you can grow. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard. I like that aspect of, meditation. I like the way you show that. And 6 p.m. on Sundays?
6 p.m. on Sundays.
For the beginners, 7 a.m. every day. All right. It's kind of funny. I heard the birds earlier. It's like, oh, that sounds so loud, like it's in here. And then we realized there's at least 2 in here is what I've seen. I don't know if you saw these birds. There's three little birds. Hey, just like the Bob Marley song, right? Are you guys doing that song next? Okay. Well, apparently there's, I don't know, someone called some spirits or someone to be here, so three of them. So maybe that's your calling. Maybe you called them. Who called them? But they're here. Anyway. All right, well, now's our chance to give back to Morning Star through our offering. I'm going to lead here the offering prayer. If you all would join me. Recognizing God as the source of my supply, I joyously give of God's abundance, which is blessed and multiplied through me, and so it is. And we'll pass the baskets here shortly while the band plays.
2, 3, 4. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream water, this land was made for you and me. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway, and I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, I've followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond desert, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California I was strolling, the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling, the fog was lifting, a voice comes chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and that sign said, there's no trespassing. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the forest to the Gulf Stream water. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me.
Where would we be without Frank, Jeffrey, Darrel, and Ken and the band? Thank you guys so much, man. Wow. Well, let's see. Announcements. Don't forget the books are out there to trade, exchange, take. If you have some at home next time, first Sunday of the month, bring some and add to the collection, right? Roger has an announcement. There he is.
We just finished the Course Miracle. And we're starting over again on 7 o'clock at the well. Please join us.
Tuesday, 7 o'clock at the well. Course in Miracles. Okay, upstairs. Okay. And that's not available. That's in person, not Zoom or anything. Sorry, Zoomers. Let's see. Any other announcements? Yes, sir. Yes. And let me, here. Here, let me,
But I know one person here, a dear friend, and I found out today, Christy's birthday.
happy birthday. Okay. All right. Next Sunday, board meeting, which will probably be at 1:30, 12:30, 12:30. Shit. Oh, this is how we do it. Thank you, honey. Technology. So board meeting next Sunday. Let's see. Is there a summer breeze? No, that's probably next week. That's next week. Okay, just going through it all. Make sure we don't miss anything. Gee whiz. I can't let the morning go by without mentioning the flooding in Texas and the children, the girls' camp that was hit hard. Keep their families and friends in your thoughts, prayers, and meditations. That's an absolute tragedy. Beyond that, let's see. Next week's speaker. Thank you. I got it right here. July 13, Tanya English, DC. I'm not sure what DC stands for. What does forgiveness have to do with healing? Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're not emotionally attached to the incident. Dr. Tanya English inspires others to go from grief to grace, find treasure in tragedy, and move forward. Dr. English has been working for 35 years in healing, and she's also an accomplished blues singer. Interesting. But come here next week and see how she learned that the darkest tragedy can hold an endless well of blessings. So that sounds very intriguing. So to wrap up here, if you all would, join me in the prayer for protection on the back of your songbooks. And Remy will get it up on the board. And let me thank the setup crew and Remy and others. So thank you all for participating today. Okay, prayer for protection, then we'll circle up for the peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. You all have a great week. Treasure life. Treasure America.